All right, guys. So welcome to the live trading session with 10 Trade. This is powered by 10 Trade for 10 Trade clients. We want to help you make very good trading decisions in the foreign exchange market. Okay, because your success as a trader is our pride, right? So, but what I want to do before we go into analysis today is to really give you two trading setups aligned for me today, and I want to check it out with you so that it might possibly tie together everything that I've been showing you guys in the last couple of weeks, right? Talking about the supply and demand zones, liquidity concepts, and how to take entries. So I'll start by looking at GBP USD, right? So we had a sell move this afternoon. So let's go to this is GBP USD, and we have been checking out GBP USD for a while. So let's go to the weekly chart as we usually do. Now, starting from the very beginning of the weekly charts. All right, so over here we can see that GBP USD is reacting to this supply range here, right? So we have seen multiple liquidity being grabbed like so. But let's check out what happened here. If you remember, I think it was last week, Monday or Wednesday, I gave you an analysis that GPU was going to retrace into the zone. I don't know how many of us remembered, right? So price was, I think here last week Monday, thereabouts, I'm not sure. And then I told you that this is what price is going to do. So you can see price direction going like this, ultimately doing this. Okay. Now, all of this here is the weekly, over here is a weekly supply. And then in a supply zone, ideally we are looking for sell opportunities. Now, going time frames deeper, like the 4 hours. So if weekly chart is saying that we should sell, if we go time frame deeper, we should also look for sell opportunities. And when you are selling on lower time frame, what you want to do is to first of all check out the order flow. The order flow should have shifted from bullish to bearish. So you want to sell in a bearish environment, right? So at the point where price retraced into the zone, right, we can see this is an M pattern. Remember, I told you liquidity concept, okay, formed. Okay, so that's why we are using this as our point of interest, because this is the zone after liquidity grab. So for some people, let me go back. For some people that trade, M patterns here, you would have, of course, been in this trade a long time ago, right? But for people that trade smart money concept like I do, this is what we usually like to wait for. Let me delete this. So over here was the zone that I said you should wait for price to get to here, like so. Okay. And then when price gets into the zone, you now want to go a time frame deeper, like your 15 minutes, and then look for entry. So let's play this forward real quick, and then I'm going to show you an entry that's happened. Good. So price entered the zone last week, right? So over here, we are looking for same thing, liquidity concept, right? We are waiting for liquidity and we'll take entry. So 15 minutes, go to 15 minutes. So on 15-minute charts, what do we have? Check this out. So when price entered the zone on 15 minutes, now all of this here, we didn't see any M pattern. So I will consider all of this as, sell pressure, which has taken out liquidity here. Okay, so this is seller's pressure. That means I've seen activity of sellers. So what that tells us is that there are a lot of people selling. That means people's stop loss are above this zone here. So what I really recommend is you want to look for sell opportunities after liquidity has been grabbed. So we have a lot of liquidity in this zone here. This is liquidity here. Okay. So you want to wait for price to go all the way up. So let's see what price did actually. So it takes a lot of patience actually to trade and find perfect setups. So let's see what price did when the market opened today. So you can see price came up into the zone, took out liquidity, right? So when that happened, same thing. What I did now was to now look for a very tight entry by going to lower time frame. So I went to the 1 minute. So this is an area of interest for me over here, this supply range over here. And in this zone as well, I'll be looking for liquidity on 1 minute and then take entry after liquidity has been grabbed. So let me go to the 1 minute chart. So on the 1 minute chart, let's play this forward, all right? So we can see liquidity being grabbed here like so. This liquidity being grabbed, you can see this M pattern like so. Oops, sorry, this is a retracement rather over here, this M pattern. So that is seller's pressure. So that means people's stop losses are above the zone. So now what I'm waiting for as a SMC trader is to wait for price to come above this. So this is liquidity on 1 minute. Once price has taken people's stop loss from here, I'll be looking for a suitable entry somewhere around the zone. Okay. And so let us do that real quick. So let's put a line that signify our zone. Good. So let's put this forward. So waiting for price to come back there. And I think it took a while actually for price to come back. But eventually price will usually come back into that zone. Good. You can see what price did. We can see price coming back into that zone to take liquidity. Now, as I will keep hammering this, guys, if you want to change the results that you are getting this year, forex trading, you really want to add liquidity concepts into your trading strategy. I cannot emphasize it enough because when you consider liquidity before taking entry, that is actual trading. Okay, you are trading the economy of countries, and economics is largely based on supply and demand. And supply and demand, buying and selling happens at the same time. So before you look for sales, you want to see people's buys. Before you look for buys, you want to see people's sales. And liquidity helps you get the right zone to take entry from. Once you start adding liquidity into your trading, your strike rates will greatly improve. So this is what I found this afternoon. So check out my entry. So this is my entry. So you can see on 1 minute, you can see price going like this: impulse, correction, impulse. Okay. And what the price do? If price will switch from this bullish to bearish, this higher low needs to be taken out right here. Okay. So price took out this higher low. So what I'm waiting to do right now is for price to retrace into the supply here. And then this is the extreme supply over here. This one, the last buy to sell conducive space. Okay, so I think that's in clumsy. Let me delete this. Good. So when price did this, what I'll do is to set a sell limit here. Sell limits around here. Okay. So, and then you can choose to do a static risk to reward, or you take your reward based off structure. So let's say someone is doing just 1 to 5 or like 1 to 6. Okay, because my take profit was using the 4 hours This is the 4-hour structure here. Okay, over here was where my take profit was rather here. So let's see what price did. Let's go back to the 1 minute. From here to, give me a second, guys. Yes, from here to here. So 1 to 11, but I did 1 to 10. So let's play this for real quick. So is when price broke this zone, like so, what you're waiting for is a retracement into this. A lot of waiting has to be made as well. So it took time. Okay, eventually, as you know, you find out price will tap into the zone. Okay. So that tap happened over here. It's just a tiny, a very, very sniper entry over here. Okay. And then what did we have? Price actually came back down to the extreme take profit zone. So this was an easy sell. And something that is good about trading supply and demand is that it might take you a while to actually find entries. But when you eventually find entries, your risk to reward will be very, 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 very solid. So over here, for like somebody that is trading this easily, you make 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, and then price eventually went over TP. Let me show you another possible entry on AUD USD, right? So let me delete all of this. I'm doing this back testing to drive on the point that I'm making, that I make usually on these live trading sessions. So when you go to AUD USD weekly chart, okay, so what can we see that's going on the weekly charts? We can see that price is on a downtrend, like so, and this is supply range, okay, on the weekly. So if price is on a weekly supply range, that means it makes sense to go on lower time frame and look for opportunity to sell the market. All right, so I won't draw too much over here, but over here we can see a lot of liquidity grabs have already happened. Okay, like so. So I'll just jump to somewhere here. So I'll go to the weekly, to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, and then show you what's going on. So over here we can see on the 4 hours. Let me draw that out real quick. So price giving us this bullish order flow, like so. Good. So for us to start looking for sells on the 4-hour time frame, this higher low needs to be taken out over here. Okay, because we can only sell, it only makes sense to sell in a bearish environment. So a signal that this bullish order flow is coming to an end is this push to break this structural zone here. So once that happens, this makes this zone a supply range, and that becomes a point of interest. So same thing that we did. So over here now, on a lower time frame, you start looking for liquidity to be grabbed. So this is the first point of mitigation of that zone. So let's go to 15 minutes and see if liquidity has been grabbed. All right, so at the first point of mitigation, what can we see? Over here, you can see this M pattern like so. That means a lot of people's liquidity are above the zone. So what I waited for is for price to come back up and take our liquidity. And then when that happens, I'll be looking for order flow shifts from bullish to bearish. So looking at order flow shifts from bullish to bearish, what can we see? All right. We saw that change here. Now, if you look at this structure over here, but still very much bullish. All right, so it does not make sense to look for sells yet because price is bullish. So eventually we found this, and then this. what did price do? Price broke this zone on 15 minutes. Let us zoom that in. And then where do you want to find your sell opportunities? The last buy candle before the sell, which is the extreme supply over here. This is the supply. So when this break happens, what you want to usually do is to just set a pending order over here. So as you can see, price retraced into that zone and gave us a little bit of move here. So this gave 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. Okay, so this gave 1 to 3.6. So easy move here. Okay, and all of this happened on Monday. Okay, and then you can see that price retraced because real moves don't really happen on Monday. So, but what I like about ADS is that price is still in the 4-hour supply. What that means is that it is still very much valid to look for sell opportunities on the 15 minutes. All right. So on AED USD, what you want to wait for is order flow to shift from bullish to bearish. So right now, order flow is still giving us a bullish order flow. So what you can wait for right now, if this is what price is printing right now, this is the structure of price. Price is bullish, like so. So you want to wait for price to break this higher low right here. Once this higher low gets broken, right, that's a violation of the order flow. So when that break happens like so, you want to wait for a retracement into the supply, and then you look for sell opportunities. Right, that's what I'm waiting for on AUD USD over here. You sell here, but we can also see another possible movement. So what we might see is that price is currently retracing like so. We might see price give us a new high. If this happens, you're waiting for price to break this higher low. So this is your new higher low, like so. Once this break happens, okay, so that's a violation of structure. That means the bullish order flow is giving you a signal of a bearish order flow now. So that is if this higher low gets broken. So if it gets broken, what you do is just set a sell limit order to your supply here. It's as simple as that. If you work with this structure, right, you will find out that your strike rate will increase. All right, so I just had to give us those two currency pairs back tests to let you know that everything that we are doing every week on this call is very, very important. So we are not teaching you what is not working. We are teaching you what works. And then we are doing this because we want to be profitable. So only those that actually do the extra work, do the research and trade from zones that we highlight can actually be consistent as a trader. Okay. How many of us here listening to me has taken the time out to study liquidity concept? Okay, if you have been studying the liquidity concept, you can type in yes in the chat box. If you've studied how to spot it, type yes. If you've studied what supply is, what a supply zone is, what a demand zone is, type yes. All right. If not, type no. It's fine. Okay. Musa Solomon said yes. Who else has studied how to spot supply and demand zones and actually mark it out on their chart? Okay. Anybody else? Because it really save you a whole lot of stress. Mr. Ariel said it works. Okay. 7 or 8 out of 10 times is going to work, right? Of course, there's no 100% trading strategy, okay? But when you start trading this way, your probability of winning trades will actually increase, okay? So if you've not studied liquidity, let me just write it down. I want you guys to take the time this week and study these 3 concepts. If you have noticed, this is only 3 things that I really talk about on a weekly basis, okay? Because you don't need more than that. You want to learn, okay, market structure, learn liquidity concepts, right? Which is pretty much how to spot liquidity, and then supply and demand, okay? Which is how to spot supply and demand on your chart, and then how to actually mark it out. So when you have these three things in the bag, trust me, the way you look at the market will change, the perspective of the market will really change, and then you'd have a better understanding of what price is doing. Lastly, also take the time out and study Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. Remember, everybody that was taught forex trading was taught how to trade using the Japanese candlesticks. So this candlestick that we are looking at now is called the Japanese candlestick. Okay. There's another candlestick called Heikin-Ashi candlestick. It is also a Japanese candlestick, but Heikin-Ashi gives you a better visual representation of orders of price. Okay, because there are times that using the normal candlestick pattern, you might be tempted to make mistakes. But look at what's going on here. Let me delete this. Look at the candlesticks, what is giving you, and then compare with Heikin-Ashi. So this is Heikin-Ashi. I'll change to Heikin-Ashi. You can see that it's changed. Heikin-Ashi makes the trend clear. Okay, Heikin-Ashi tends to remove false trends or false signals, right? Heikin-Ashi gives you better structure. Okay, so I recommend that you learn how to use it and then add it to your market structure. You will only need to use Heikin-Ashi when you're trying to figure out market structure, which is structure of the market. Okay, I hope that makes sense, guys. So let's go to today's business. As always, it is live trading. So let us know the pairs that you're looking at for the week so that we'll take a look at them together. Okay, so what pairs are you looking to trade this week that you need a possible second eye or a different perspective? Just type those currency pairs in the chat box and then we'll take a look at it together. Also, please, if you have any questions, feel free to type your questions in a chat box, or if you need me to unmute you, please signify and then you ask your question. So beyond us analyzing trades and spotting setups, we also want to help you become better traders. Okay, so you can use the Q&A opportunity. So Euro AUD, Rosalind said EU, GU, and gold. So let's check out Euro AUD real quick. Euro AUD. Okay, so this is Euro AUD. As always, you're gonna go to the weekly time frame, and what you want to do is to check out the market structure. The first thing you want to do on any currency pair is to check out the trend. What is the trend? All right, what's the trend? Now, looking at Euro AUD, Ambrose is asking, why are your candlesticks with two different colors? Okay, so because I'm using something called, I've even forgotten the name itself. So let me just remove it. Hold on. I want to get the name of the candle. Yeah, so inside bar. So there is an indicator called inside bar. Inside bar, when you start learning about supply and demand, you also come across the inside bar concept. So also, if you just Google what inside bar is, you find a plethora of analysis. So I use inside bar as well to figure out some points of interest as well when I'm trying to identify a supply or demand, but you don't have to do all of that. So just ignore it. So I'll just remove it. So when you check out Euro AUD, this is the weekly time frame. What is the structure? Now, if I'm using high Kinashi, all right, what can I see here? You can see price giving you, this is the weekly chart, by the way. All right, we have price giving you a downtrend, like so. Okay, and then what do we have? A break of this lower high here, and then what can we see? We can see a retracement, and then so price on Euro AUD, all right, is in an uptrend because this has been broken here. All right, and then coincidentally as well, we're also having price aligning at this supply. So that's why we have this retracement here. But ultimately, price is now in an uptrend. Okay. And then in an uptrend, you are actually concerned about demand zones in an uptrend. So let me go back to your normal candlestick. This is the weekly chart. Normal candlestick over here. This is a demand range like so. So in this zone now, I'm looking for buy opportunities because it's a demand zone. So I'm not a position trader, so I wouldn't take entry on the weekly. So let's go to a lower time frame like the 4-hour chart and find possible points of interest. So this is the first point of mitigation at that retracement. So at that mitigation, I'll be looking for liquidity grabs first before I spot a point of interest. All right. So over here, what can we see here? Okay. So at this point, let's do this. So this is the point of mitigation here. When price retraces, we can see this, right? Price doing this. I'm looking for now. The idea of liquidation is to spot buyer's pressure, buy pressure. So I'm looking for buy pressure, and then I'm looking for it in terms of double top, or when price see a very strong impulse move, right? And then over here, what can we see here? Okay, price eventually taking out this high. Let's draw that properly. Price taking out this high here. So we can see a W pattern like so, okay? So this activity here is a little bit of, buyer's pressure. So what it means is that, hold on. So what it means is that a lot of people's stop losses is below here, below the zone here, okay? So on the 4 hours now, what you want to wait for is what? For price to give you entry, you need this zone, right? And then what can we see? We can see price going down like so, impulse, correction, impulse, giving you a low. And then if you have to look for buy opportunities, you wait for price to break this lower high right here. And then eventually, what did price do? Price eventually broke the zone, okay? And then you can see price retracing into this. This is a demand zone here, the extreme demand. And then what did price do? Price ultimately picked up, right? So if you're taking entry, so this happened last week. So we would have gotten an entry at this zone last week, but not to worry. So price picked up from here as regards that. And then you can see, so price is in an established uptrend on 4 hours right now. All right. So Let me clear that off real quick. So we have price in an established uptrend on the 4 hours. This is the structure of the trend, impulse correction, impulse. So you want to start looking for entries in this demand range right here. So this is a demand range over here. Good. So let's do this. So at this zone now, this is your point of interest on the 4 hour zone. So let's find buyer's pressure at the point of mitigation. So this is the first point of mitigation of that zone. So I'm going to go to the 15 minutes right now. So 15 minutes would be my entry time frame. So let's go back a bit, 15 minutes. All right, so 15 minutes, what can we see? We are looking for activity of buyers. Okay, so we can see this activity here. Rosalind, I'm going to unmute you shortly. All right, so we can see this activity of, okay, this end pattern. This W pattern right there. So that means people's stop losses are below here. Price ultimately giving you a downward order flow. So there's no reason to buy yet. All right, they learn to buy yet. All right, so also we can see price giving you, so this is a higher high. So this happened today, early hours of today. Price actually eventually breaking this zone like so, retracing, okay, a bit below the demand and ultimately price going up. Okay, and what that also tell you is that there's also still activity, liquidity graph. So price signal, hold on here. So people's stop losses are still here. So now you're waiting for liquidity graph. So what you should do, guys, very, very quickly on a Euro AUD on 15 minutes is you want to look for this bullish, this bearish order flow to switch to a bullish order flow. So price right now is on a downtrend. Remember, we're trying to buy because price is in a daily and weekly demand, right? It's a weekly demand. And also it's in a 4 hour demand zone. Remember, we established that price on a 4 hours demand zone, right? So this is a 15 minutes chart. We're also looking for buys. So if you look for buys, you want the order flow to shift from what? Bullish, from bearish to bullish. So right now, based on what we have here, where's more of these? Price is still very much, as you can see, okay? Price is very much bearish. So what you want to wait for is a possible move like this, Mr. Rio. Okay, if price should do this, you wait for this lower high to be taken out, like so. If this happens, you wait for the retracement and then look for buys. So it takes a lot of waiting actually. Okay, but for me, Euro AUD is not ready to be bought yet. Okay, so Rosalind, I'm going to unmute you right now, okay? Rosalind, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, going back to 4 hours chart, that demand zone, because there was a way I was thinking is just part. I want to show you something that the demand zone, you took all the big red candle down, but me, I used to take just the small red candle downwards only. Yes.
This one?
Yes. Yes, that one. The last bearish candle before the bullish move.
Yes.
Yes,
okay, so
the last. I used to take that as my demand zone.
Yes.
Is it correct?
So, you are correct, but if you are only taking the last candle, you won't be able to spot liquidity properly. Now, the whole idea of the range. So this is a range. Okay, this is a range. It's called a demand range. Yes. Now, why I use the range is that a lot of activities happens in a demand range or the supply range, and it will help you spot liquidity and grabs adequately. If you are only considering the extreme, like so, okay, let's say this is a extreme that you consider, all right? A lot of times, if you are doing this, there are times that in the demand range, in a range, there are times that there won't be liquidity grabs. Okay, and then trust me, you know, SMC is also gradually becoming retail concept. So if you are only considering this extreme without considering liquidity, that means you will be the liquidity that will be grabbed here. So when you take the range, now, Rosalind, you are valid by looking at this range, is valid. But to add better validation, I recommend that you start including range, okay, demand range and supply range, right? And what you're looking for in that range is activity of liquidity graph, because there are also times that price would not even get to this extreme before reversing. I'm sure that's happened to you a lot of times. You're expecting price to get to this extreme, but price will just come probably halfway and then start reversing. It is because the extreme is not only the demand, right? Demand is not one candle. Okay, so what you were taught is that a demand or supply is a last candle before the move, okay, which is like correct 50%. But if you really want to understand what is going on, the activity of the big financial institutions, you need to consider what is happening in the trading range, okay, because that is how they, you know, in their own way, try and do some manipulation, try and create liquidity. So when you consider the range, it gives you a focal point. So you know exactly what they are doing in this range. And then you know if you are supposed to take entry at that extreme or not. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Rosalind. So I would recommend, I also previously, I used to only use the extreme demand and supply. Okay. But I found out that I was either losing entries or I was losing a lot of trades. And that was because I never used to consider liquidity. So you know, what changed the game for me is when I started using the whole range, and the whole essence of using the range is so that I can spot liquidity, right? So at the point of mitigation of that range, okay, by mitigation, I mean the first candle that hits that zone, okay, from that first candle that hits that zone, I'm looking for liquidation on the lower time frame. And then when price has taken out liquidity, I'll be looking for entries in that range. Rosalind, does that make sense to you? Let me know in the chat box. You can unmute yourself, Rosalind. I think you muted.
Yeah. Okay, yes, I understand now what you're saying. Right. Considering the range. Oh, please don't mind my noisy environment.
No problem. It's fine. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, I understand.
All right. Perfect. All right. Good. So, guys, if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask in the chat box. So let's go to another pair. So the next pair was asked by Euro USD. Let's check out what's going on Euro USD. The recording will be sent into the WhatsApp group and Telegram group, or you can just go to our YouTube channel and check it out there. So it should be out tonight or tomorrow latest. Okay, so 10 Academy Africa or 10 Africa on YouTube is where you get the link. Okay. So Euro USD. I'm also waiting for this move on Euro USD. So as always, let's go to the weekly chart. I like to start my analysis from the weekly. All right. So weekly, we can see price. So if you go to Heikin-Ashi, market structure on Heikin-Ashi tells me that this move here, you can see, is still an impulse move. You can see it's only showing you green candles. There's no red candle yet, unlike this. So that's why, because if you take a look at what's going on normal candlesticks now, you might be tempted to think that this one candle is structured. But when you use Heikin-Ashi, I get a clearer view of what's going on. So I know that this is an impulse move. If I know that this is an impulse move, that means when price gets to a supply zone, we should expect some retracement or pullback. Okay, so let's identify a supply zone in that range. Okay, so this is the supply. Right now, prices at this supply range over here. Supply. All right. So you're waiting for. So this is the first point of mitigation on. So I'll go to the 4-hour chart now. And then what am I doing on 4-hour chart? I'm looking for, in this case, seller pressure. So over here, you can see at the first mitigation here, you can see this move right here. You can see an M pattern eventually taking out this low, right? So what that means is that people are interested in selling. That means people's stop losses are above this zone, like so. So as a smart trader, what you're on the wait for is for people's liquidity to be taken out, okay? Give me a second, guys. All right, so you wait for people's liquidity to be taken out. So people's SL is here, so price needs to go up and grab liquidity, which it did here. So when that happens, you now want to wait for order flow to shift to bearish because you want to sell. So you are waiting for order flow shift. In this case, what you'll be waiting for is for price to break this higher low here. Okay, because if you check it out, this is a structure right here, impulse, correction here. So for you to start looking for possible sales on 4 hours, you need price to break this higher low. But price did not break this higher low. Okay, so price kept going up. So that's why we are not selling yet. Okay, so we have an internal structure here. Good. So if you are interested in selling, you need to wait for price to either break this zone. Where is it? Okay, this is the internal structure. Okay, higher low or this extreme here. Okay, in this case, I'll favor this extreme break and then retracement, and then look for sales. That is if this supply zone is going to hold the move. But like I always tell you, even in a supply zone, because supply zone is not a law, it's not price can break a supply zone. So that means in a supply zone, you can also see bullish momentum in a supply zone. So in this case, the order possible trade idea that can happen over here is if we start considering structure. So structure on 4 hours right now is giving you a bullish momentum. You can see price is bullish, like so. Okay. You have internal structure here, like so. Okay. So what you want to do when you see this bullish momentum, it's very, very simple. What I would do is to consider this whole range. I'll start by considering this range. So this is a demand range here. Okay. So price has retraced into this range. Now we are looking at this internal structure here, that range. Or if you want to look at the big picture, you can just use this old range. This is also a range from here to here. Okay. The last or the move down, that's a demand range. But it's still, this is still very, very valid. So over here now, this is the first point of mitigation. So over here, I'm looking to buy now because I've seen a 4-hour uptrend and this is the demand. So I want to go a time frame deeper. I go to 15 minutes. And on that 15 minutes, I'm looking for buyer's pressure. And then I'm waiting for liquidity to be taken out. All right. And then what do I see? I see this. You can see this move here, some sort of W here. So I can see buyer's pressure. So what that means is that people are interested in buying at this zone because people buying has taken out structure, as taking out this lower high. But in a demand zone, you don't want to enter like every other person. Remember, the majority of forex traders are doing the same thing, and that is why they are losing money. So you want to take entry or look for entry after liquidity has been taken out. After liquidation is when you want to be looking for entry. So this buyer's pressure now, that means people's stop losses, right, are below this zone, okay? An average person trading W pattern is putting in stop loss below this zone, okay? So you want to wait for price to come back down and take out liquidity. So you are waiting. So once this happens, in this range now is now where you want to be looking for buy setups. So regardless of your strategy, okay, if it aligns, you most likely be in a very, very good trade. Okay. But ultimately, I recommend that if you are buying, wait for order flow to shift from bearish to bullish. Okay. So that is what we have on Euro USD. All right, let's check out gold next. Rosalind, I hope that answered the question. You were the one that asked for Euro USD, right? So let's check out gold real quick. Gold. So most of these setups are going to align from tomorrow and Wednesday. So gold. GU. We already checked out GU from the beginning. Rosalind. So let's see GU. So GU is already going down. Let's do it again. Price is reacting to this range here on the weekly. Right. So on the 4 hours is what you're waiting for. So on the 4 hours, the structure right now on Euro USD is, so over here, you can see this high. Now, this high, you can see that this high is higher than this high. But this is just a week. the body of the candle did not close above that high. So I wouldn't consider this as a break of structure, right? I would only consider it as a liquidity grab, possibly. So over here, I don't have any reason to look for buys yet. All right. So what's occurring to me right now is a possible retracement a bit. So I would consider this move like this: impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, like so. All right. So I'll wait for price to take out this low, this higher low. Okay. So as you can see right now, this extreme demand zone is active. So I want this demand zone to fail. So if this price is like this, the price probably go up like so. So that demand zone, once it fails, that means price breaking through demand zone. If this happens, I'll wait for price to retrace into this extreme here. In this case, can the extreme, or you can take the range, depends on you. That's if you are going a time frame deeper. So when this happens in this range, on 15 minutes, you now start looking for possible entries. So Rosalind, that's what I'll do on GU. So this trade is not ready for me yet. So what I'll do carefully is just come up here, and then I'm going to set an alert to notify me that the higher low has been broken. Once I know that this higher low has been broken, that means it's a signal that the order flow wants to shift from this bullish to bearish. So if price should break this zone, I'll be waiting for a retracement, right? And it is in this retracement, this pull back on 15 minutes chart, I'll be like, okay. So let's check out the last pair for tonight. Let's check out gold. For everybody here, I recommend that you take the time out and replay of these sessions, okay? Because possibly you would have missed some very, very interesting points. And then the replay would also help you know the zones that you should trade from. So you just do your markup of the same zones on your charts. So gold, let's start from the weekly on gold. So what do we have on gold here? Let me check my hacking actually. So we have an impulsive move here on gold. So that means possibly gold is going to retrace from a supply. Let me go back to this. Okay, so this right here, the supply. If I take this orange, good. So we've seen liquidity grab here like so. So what I'll do is on 4 hours now, I want to look for possible sell opportunities on 4 hours. If I see this opportunity, also possible buy opportunities as well. So over here on 4 hours, the order flow is still very, very much bullish. Even though price is in a weekly supply, you don't sell until price is in a bearish order flow. All right. So on 4 hours, price is very much bullish. So if you sell on the 4 hours, this is a structure. You want to wait for price ultimately, to break this higher low here. So once this break happens like so, you wait for retracement into the supply zone, and then you start selling. Okay. That's one trade idea. So that means you have to wait for that to happen, if it will happen. But like I always say, you want to be ready for any possible scenario. Okay. So we can also see bullish order flow here. So what that would tell us is that this is an uptrend. That means demand, the buyers are very, very active. So this is an uptrend like so. Okay. Internal structure here. Now, what that means is that price is in an uptrend. So we are concerned about what demand. So there's demand for gold. So this is a range here, like so. This is a trading range, a demand range. So in this range now is where you want to look for buy opportunities. So what do we do? At the point of mitigation of this zone, right? You are waiting for liquidity grabs and then order flow to shift from bearish to bullish. So we'll go to the 15-minute chart. On 15 minutes, what do we have? All right. You can see price giving you this. W pattern, okay? And then you wait for price to come back down. So price came back down. So this happened on Friday. Price came back down. So the order flow, you now wait for the order flow shift from bearish to bullish. So this was the structure. So price broke the zone, retraced, and then ultimately came all the way up. So we've seen good moves happen on Friday. So right now, you want to wait for order flow to shift again. Based on where price is right now currently, we are waiting for order flow shift from bearish to bullish. So mark the structure. This is the structure of price right now. Okay. So if you look for buys on gold, my recommendation, guys, let me check out something on hiking that shit real quick. All right. So in a second. So guys, my recommendation is very, very simple. Is to wait for price to break, wait for price to break the zone. It's almost going to break it. So this is, let's use this extreme here. This is a lower high. Okay. Price is almost approaching that zone. So you want price to break the zone. Once that break happens, right, you wait for a retracement into a demand zone. In this zone now, you want to look for buys. Okay. So in this case, Rosalind, for my entry time frame, I prefer to use the extreme. I don't consider range on entry time frame. Okay. So if this happens, you look for this. So you just set your pending order, your buy limits here. Then you're good to go. Is that clear, guys? Any more questions? Any questions? Any addition, subtraction? Let me know if you've gotten value from this session. If it makes sense to you, please type in value in the chat box. I see Mr. Kanayo, Emmanuel Olukayode, Wisdom, Ambrose, Musaria. Thank you so much for coming, for joining every week on this session. Give me some feedback, guys. Mr. Ambrose, awesome. Saria, awesome. Good. So we have a Telegram channel for 10 trade. Also, what you can also do to enter a very good setup is post your trade setups on the group and ask for recommendations, or ask for a second eye, because if if we trade together as a team, we will make money consistently. Right? Only people that pretty much trade in isolation make silly mistakes. But if you trade as a team and then you make use of what is available, you would you make money. Mr. Manuel is asking, is Funded Trader live now? Yes, it is live. Details are on the website. Also, if you go to your Tentrade dashboard, you see how you can register for it. Okay, it's live. So Tentrade also now has a offer set. You can get access to instant funding without having to do any evaluation. Okay, you can get access to $10,000 account, 30K, 50K. You can get funded up to 500,000 US dollars. Okay. They will have amazing services. So check it out and use it. Mr. Wisdom is asking, I am yet to understand this liquidity stuff. Yes, I know, because it's a new concept. I don't know if you've taken the time out to do personal research on liquidity, right? So do your research on it. And I usually also go through it on our live sessions. Maybe on Wednesday, our next live session, I'll use maybe 10-15 minutes to teach liquidity properly. All right, so that way we can understand. Okay, but wisdom to study it's not that hard. Okay, how much is an instant funded account? It depends on the account you want to have access to. So please, I'll direct you to the website, to Tentrade website. So go to the website. I'm going to type it in the chat box, www. Okay. On the website, you will see the link to check out the Funded Trader program. You see all of the classes, the products. So there's 10K, there's 30K, there's 90K, there's 270K, there's 500K. All right. And then you see what is involved. Okay. I don't want to go to the website, because if I go there, that's another class on its own. Okay. But please just go through it on your own. Mr. Ambrose, is that clear? And then, of course, if you have any other questions about the funnel program, you can reach out to your account officer or chat up live support. On the website, we have a live support. Okay, we have a live chat. So you can chat us live, and then we'll give you answers to the questions that you have. Is that clear? All right, so I have to wrap this up now. We have been here for a bit over 1 hour. So with that said, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody tonight for joining these sessions. So let's keep joining, let's keep studying, let's keep learning and upgrading our knowledge, right? Forex trading is a skill set that once you understand it properly, it can pay for your life. Okay, so don't give up. Even if you are still losing trades, don't give up. Okay, keep studying, keep learning. Count your losses as lessons. Okay, and then improve, get better. And with what we have at Tentrade, Tentrade is an ecosystem. So we are giving you everything you need to succeed as a trader. And one thing that I recommend that you don't joke with is the education provided by Tentrade. Once you understand it properly, it is going to change the game for you. All right. I want to wish us all the very best this trading week. Our next live session should be on Wednesday, possibly on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, we'll check out what is going on the markets. Wednesday usually is when the real moves happen. So we'll know exactly when and where to take entries. Okay, so till Wednesday, I'll see you guys. God bless everybody, guys. Good night. Cheers.